I'm John Hopkins from Seekonk, Massachusetts, and I'd like to share my story on how I came to Gaylord. So I had a cavernous malformation, which is basically a birthmark in your spinal cord. Found out about it in 2017. I went to New York and had the surgery performed. I wheeled into the hospital in a wheelchair in 2017. A month later, I walked out. I started having more issues this year. I went to see the neurosurgeon in New York, and I saw him on March 1st. He had me in surgery on March 10th. Woke up from surgery, all my extremities were working. And at that point in time, they admitted the first COVID patients on the first floor of the hospital. I still wasn't nervous. I was on the 8th floor. And so I figured they had a lot of floors to fill before they get to the 8th floor. But it filled up pretty quickly, a lot quicker than I anticipated. By, third or fourth week I was in New York, the COVID was all around, and it was on the same floor. It was on the 8th floor. Or you'd go down past the nurse's station, and then all the rooms would be COVID rooms with the signs on the door. A few days later, it was right next door. But in the meantime, I was going for OT and PT and not getting any better, and I had lost the ability to use my arms and legs. I could use my left arm a little bit. And so I was getting worse, and they determined after another MRI that the cavernous malformation had rebled. And so when it rebleeds, it basically starts to shut everything down from my neck down. And I came out of the second surgery, and none of my extremities were moving. By that time, it was pretty desperate times in New York, so I started to get nervous. There was a lot of nurses and aides crying, and there was a constant running up and down the floors of the respiratory emergencies, and so it was pretty scary. So I had to find a place to go. So my friend just so happened to see Gaylord, and he said, "I think I found a real special place." My first 2 months at Gaylord, I was still in a lot of pain. My spinal cord was swollen. I really struggled. It was tough emotionally, and I did my share of crying. But the staff here is tremendous. And it's not just the psychology department, it was every aide, would see that I was upset and come and talk to me, and every OT and every PT would go out of their way. Just talking with people made it possible to get through the day. I get so comfortable being here. It's like all the employees here are like members of my family now, and really, I get to know quite a few of the patients as well. And it was very therapeutic to talk to people every day about what I was going through. I do OT and PT. OT is I have BJ, and PT I have Caitlin, and sometimes they'll team up. At first, everything was a struggle, so the improvement has been dramatic, and they get you right into OT and PT. Really shockingly, were trying to get me on my feet right away. So the first 3 weeks I was here, I was in a standard wheelchair, but then they talked me into getting an electric wheelchair, which allowed me to, with my left hand that was starting to work, to try to steer that around. So I got to meet some other people. It was an amazing experience to meet some of the patients that were here. And I've met people that I'll be in contact with for the rest of my life. You're in the gym, and the first time you get up on the 0G and walk, it's like you get a whole cheering section cheering you on. "Oh, I saw you today. You're doing great." They're cheering you on in the gym, and you cheer them on. It's great. We ended up having a group that would just get together every day after therapy, and we'd talk. And some days it would only be 1 or 2 of us out there, and other days it'd be 9 or more people, and it was just a lot of fun. I always kept myself in good shape. In 2018, I climbed a 16,000-foot peak in Ecuador. And this winter, just before I had the surgery and came to Gaylord, I climbed a Lion's Head in South Africa, which was a pretty tough climb. I want to continue to do those things, so I'm really fighting to get back on my feet. Caitlin and BJ, the first day I was here, they asked me what my goal was, and it was to walk out of here. That's still my goal, and we're getting pretty darn close. I am walking now with just a walker, so I'm carrying my own weight, and so I'm hoping by next year I'll on top of a mountain peak. I don't say I hope, I know I'll be on top of another mountain peak, and send a picture back to Caitlin and BJ, say, I did it again.